Hey guys, this is Syke with Movie Blast, and this video is all about what I hated in The Dark Knight Rises. Alright, now first off, I loved The Dark Knight Rises. You click all over YouTube and there's 1,000 different reviews of people praising this movie, saying it should be up for Best Picture, and the performances are amazing, and the story is cool, and the Bat Pod, and the Bat Jet thing, and oh, Bane is so cool, and, you know. Hey, that is all very, very true, but there are also some things that I did not like about this movie. Some of them are pretty serious critiques, and others are just kind of like fanboy quibbles. Alright, this video is going to be spoiler heavy, so if you have not seen the movie yet, are you kidding me? And you don't want to be spoiled, do not watch this video until after you've seen the movie. Now, I've decided that these criticisms are just going to be as they flow into my head. I've been thinking about them, they're on the top of my brain, they're not in chronological order or in order of importance or anything like that, so I'm just going to barf out at you the things that I don't like in The Dark Knight Rises. Alright, my first criticism is on how John Blake, Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character, figured out that Bruce Wayne was Batman. As the story goes, John Blake was an orphan like Bruce Wayne, and he had to learn to cover up all his internal anger and put on a smile. And one day he sees the billionaire playboy Bruce Wayne come to his orphanage to spend time with the orphans, and he sees the exact same expression on Bruce Wayne's face that he's learned to project. And so, under that reasoning, he figures out that Bruce Wayne is Batman. Like, he doesn't say, and I figured out because you have all these resources, and that Wayne Manor's kind of isolated from the city, and none of that. It's just, I saw the look in your eye, and I knew you were Batman. I think that's kind of stupid. Under that same reasoning, anyone who suffered a tragic loss would be Batman. Under that same reasoning, any orphan should be Batman. So it doesn't really connect with me. It felt like it was pasted together because Christopher Nolan wanted John Blake to know that Bruce Wayne was Batman. So that's something I thought was a little loose and a little sloppy. Alright, now another thing I didn't really like is the magic technology knee fixer. You've seen the movie, you see the early scenes, Bruce Wayne is hobbling around on a cane, and he's basically a cripple, but at one point when he decides he wants to be Batman again, he puts this magic knee brace on, the knee brace tightens, and all of a sudden he's kicking through walls. I felt that was pretty comic booky, which is something Nolan has really tried to avoid as he tells these stories. And so I just kind of didn't love the magic technology knee fixer, where all of a sudden his knee is better than ever. Now, a whole lot of people are criticizing Bane and his voice being difficult to understand. I don't make that criticism at all. The guy speaks through some kind of ventilator mask. I mean, let's just accept that he might be difficult to understand at times, okay? But my criticism is this: for someone who was supposedly raised in a Middle Eastern pit prison, he has a very proper British gentleman voice. I kind of, when I hear Bane's voice, I kind of think of this guy from Monopoly. I just didn't think that that made a lot of sense, because they made it sound like Bane was raised in this prison from a very young age. I'm not sure where he would have acquired this proper English accent. Another thing on Bane that I haven't heard people complaining about, but I want to complain about, I didn't like this, was Bane's speechifying. At least 3 times in the movie, and I think there's more that I can't think of, but at least 3 times in the movie, he's standing in front of these people making speeches. There's at the stock exchange, there's before Blackgate Prison, and then there's there at the football stadium. He's making all of these speeches, and I just can't help, especially at the prison scene, I just had this random thought bouncing in my brain when he's up there saying, "Oh, you've had a false idol," and all these things. I just kept thinking, someone's gonna shoot you, dude. Someone is gonna poke their rifle out their window and put a bullet through your larynx. I just didn't like all the speechifying. I don't think he would have been that public and that out in the open for someone just to take some pot shots at him. The speechifying with the Joker kind of made sense. That is the Joker, but even the Joker wasn't out in front of all the people going, "Hey guys, I'm crazy, I'm gonna take over your city, somebody shoot me." Now, Joker was a little more realistic. He was doing things behind the scenes, but he wasn't just standing out in front of the public so they could light him up like a candle at mass. Another thing I didn't really love was Bane's escape from the stock exchange. Did that seem sloppy to anyone else? They've got like these motorcycles that kind of look like dirt bikes, I don't know, but they've got these motorcycles and they drive right out the front door, and all the police, I mean, like half of Gotham's finest are right there, pistols drawn. I mean, they got their Glocks, they got their rifles, they got their cars barricaded, they are ready to shoot these fools, and yet not one of them ever pulls the trigger. If I'm remembering correctly, only one of them had a hostage. There is just no way that they wouldn't have ripped those fools down as they're driving kind of slowly right past them on their motorcycles. They would have gotten shot off those bikes. I thought that was a little a little empty feeling, like these are not very good police officers here in Gotham. If they're just going to let people drive right past them, I thought that was kind of goofy. All right, now one of my more serious criticisms is about the character of John Blake. And I've heard a lot of people say that it was the best performance in the movie. By the way, no, it wasn't. That belongs to Alfred Pennyworth. But John Blake's character, I just kind of felt like in most of his scenes that he was just kind of there. There's nothing dynamic about him. There's nothing that really makes you want to root for him or watch him on the screen. I guess you like him because he's an everyman, and Batman even says to him at one point that Batman is a symbol. Anyone can be Batman. But John Blake just kind of feels like he's there. He's not a great fighter. He's not an incredibly great thinker. He's not great at anything. He's just a good-hearted guy. And I felt like Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who I think is an exceptional actor, maybe didn't have much to work with, or was maybe being too understated in his delivery of some of these lines. But I just felt like the John Blake character could have gotten a little bit more of my heart. Instead, I was kind of like, well, I mean, I think you're important. I think by the end of this movie, you're going to be an important character. But right now, you're just not as interesting as anyone else who's getting screen time. All right, can I get this off my chest? Where was Alfred? Now listen, I know for the story's sake, he has to go away. He and Bruce part ways. But listen, those scenes with Alfred are the best scenes in the entire movie. Those heart-to-hearts that he has with Bruce Wayne, just like in the previous two movies, pretty much any scene with Alfred, Michael Caine's Alfred, is just incredible. And I felt like the movie lost a little bit of its emotional core because Alfred's only in the beginning scenes and they're in the very end scenes. I needed more Alfred. Now this might just be one of those little quibbles that I have. I felt like Gotham felt flat. Like in the other movies, I felt like they've really tried to make Gotham feel like a living place. Like it represents New York. It has 12 million people. It's surrounded by water. It's got all these bridges. It's our most important city, the president says. It's New York. And New York is a thriving, vibrant, alive place. And at no point in this movie do they really seek to establish any sort of tone for Gotham as a city. Oh, they say the crime has gone away, and of course Batman, Bruce Wayne, loves Gotham and wants to defend and protect his city, but you never really get a feel for Gotham in this movie. It's so bogged down by all of this other stuff that you kind of don't get the sense that Gotham is really ever scared when Bane comes in. I mean, yeah, you get the Matthew Modine character who doesn't want to come out when Gary Oldman's Gordon comes to get him. You get a little bit, but you just don't really get the emotional core of Gotham as a city under siege to a madman. Capturing and trapping all of Gotham PD in the sewer system with one brilliant stroke, while at the same time you take control of the rest of Gotham and you collapse a football stadium. Come on, that felt a little too convenient. I mean, it was dang cool to watch, but didn't that feel convenient to you? I mean, they decide that the best thing to do is to send almost the entire Gotham City Police Department in the tunnels. Who's watching the city? This is a city of 12 million people. Who is taking care of the people? Why we send the entire police force in the sewers to look for this madman. I felt like that was just a little stretching reality. At no point would a city that large ever think that it would be okay to leave their streets free of the police. All right, now here's a criticism that a lot of people may completely disagree with, and I'm okay. Because I've read and heard that this is a lot of people's sort of favorite scenes in the movie, and that's when Bane drops Bruce Wayne in that Middle Eastern pit prison. I just thought it was kind of ridiculous to think that Bane is taking over Gotham City, while at the same time he wants to take Bruce Wayne personally to a Middle Eastern prison. You said, well, they never said where that prison was. Okay, listen. That prison is somewhere in the Middle East. We understand that, okay? So Bane's gonna leave the city that he's taken ransom just to drop Bruce Wayne off. Now, I know Bruce Wayne's important for Bane's schemes and plans, paying him back for destroying Ra's al Ghul in the League of Shadows, but that just seemed too far-fetched. Now, if you wanted to say he had some of his men send Wayne there or something, even that I would feel was a little goofy. But the scenes where he's building himself back into health and kind of recovering that Batman zeal and fire and learning to fear death again, all those kind of montage-y elements, I just felt like it was ripped straight out of a Rocky movie, but without the cheesy or awesome 80s music.